Today we have the absolute pleasure of talking to Andrea Anderson. Hi, Andrea. It's so good to meet you.
It's so great to meet you. I'm really excited to be here.
I am super excited to talk to you. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to everyone? How long have you been in sales? Where do you work? Tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, so I am with Andrews Cadillac right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I've been with them for 9 years. I got started in the business 12 years ago with a Jeep Chrysler Dodge dealership out west where I lived. And that was my first jump into the automotive world very randomly. And I was there for a few years. My husband and I moved here to Nashville in 2015 and worked for a BMW dealership and then made my home at Andrews Cadillac. And I'm a mom to a 7-year old, and yeah, I love selling cars, and I'm very passionate about it. Just it's such a great industry, and I love it
I, I,
genuinely.
I can't wait to ask you all the questions about this. So first of all, what were you doing before you got in car sales?
Yeah, so I went to school I was a registered dietitian, did all that, passed the test, got like my dream job at 24. I was running a health club and their nutrition department and realized that was not what I wanted to be doing, and was not patient enough to deal with like changing behaviors in people, and just realized that that wasn't my goal. And so I got into sales for like health clubs and just saw the side of like sales and how I'm a very competitive person. So I was a competitive athlete, rode horses, played every sport possible. So when I went to the new big world, after college, I was like, this isn't fun. Like, I want that competitive feeling. I want that adrenaline. I want that pressure. So when I went into sales, I was just hooked instantly. So I was in high-end sales, like, well, high-end health clubs. And that was kind of a thing of the past, like in 2012 or so. Yeah. And so we moved to Durango, Colorado, my husband and I. We were dating at the time, and he was moving there for a job. So there were no jobs there. I drove a Jeep, and my dad actually said, I said, Dad, there's no jobs, and I don't know what to do. And he said, well, if you want to prove it to me that you can sell, you should sell cars. And I said, screw you, Dad. I will go sell cars. I put in my application, got a call that day, interviewed the next day, and got hired on the spot. And it was a pretty funny story. The lady that did like the HR, she said, honey, have you ever sold cars before? And I was like, no. She was like, he's never hired anyone on the spot. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. This is actually a really funny story. So in my interview, he said, well, it doesn't look like you've ever done sales. And I said, well, if you look at my resume, I actually have. And I asked him, do you think that I would be successful? And he'd given me this answer, basically saying yes. And I said, so when do I start? And he goes, well, I didn't offer you the job. And I said, well, didn't you just tell me that I would be really successful? And he was like, well, I haven't talked to the other managers. I said, well, I can sit here and wait. And I was like 24 at the time. I don't know. Just I went for it. So yeah, I got hired, and that was a long time ago.
That's incredible. That is an incredible story. Okay.
Hmm.
So you had already done different kinds of sales by the time that you got on the floor. So I'm really curious to know if there were any specific challenges that you had when you started that maybe you didn't expect or that you had to overcome when you first started.
I was in more of a male-dominated world before with personal training, so I kind of already had that type of thick skin, but it was rough. And I was in an oil and gas city, and it was a lot of trucks, and they didn't like some young girl coming in there that never sold cars and was beating all the guys. So it was very surprising.
Mhm.
And that they were trying to scare me, and it only made me make it want it more. So, I think it just inspired me to try harder. So yeah, it was rough, and there were a lot of things that are inappropriate that were said. And again, it was more of like, well, I don't think you realize who I am, and I can handle that. So
First of all, that I'm sorry that that happened because that's a very common story, right? It's a very common experience of women coming into a store and being most likely the only woman in the whole floor. I would love to hear, what do you say to women who are listening right now who are in that situation, who are being, you know, hit with heat from the guys with these like testing,
Yeah.
testing their muster, what would you say to them?
I would say use it to your advantage. They're obviously threatened or they wouldn't be going through that. And so think of it as like, oh, okay, they see that I can do what, I can get ahead of them, or that I know that it's not a great situation. We can't change their behavior and they're acting off of their own situation. It has nothing to do with you. It's their own insecurity. So I just feel bad for them and think, I'm going to use it to my advantage.
I love it. Did you have mentors that helped you along the way?
No.
No. I was like,
A
no.
lot of well, that was whenever before podcasts, and I had a lot of Audible, so I had an hour commute to work every day and an hour home. So I listened to a lot of Audible. Well, we didn't even have Audible back then, or who knows what was back then, but it was a lot of books on recorded, like it wasn't tape, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So a lot of women, I remember like Jen Sincero reading like "You Are a Badass."
Yeah.
I listened to that a lot. I mean, that was in 2012, so it wasn't as big of a thing for like women empowering others. So it, I, I've always like played sports and been around other like male type of fields. So for me, like it didn't intimidate me. It was just kind of normal, which I know not everyone's in that situation, but for me, it kind of felt like home. So, you know.
I actually would love to hear you speak directly to a woman who is an athlete and she's coming into car sales. Based on what you said, speak directly to her and tell her how her grit can be used in this industry. Before we hear the answer to that really juicy question from our guest, I wanted to tell you how I found her, how she ended up on this video in this interview. I found her on TikTok because she had a strong presence, because she was using the right hashtags, because she knew what she was doing. And that is how your customers find you. That is how you establish your authority in the marketplace. That is how car salespeople make their mark and take control of their careers, by being online. And you need to be on TikTok if you're not already. My name is Ina. I'm the AutoSocialGal, and I'm a social media strategist for car salespeople, for car dealerships, and I have helped hundreds of people with their online presence over the past decade. And now, for the first time ever, I have created a Mastering TikTok for Car Sales course that you can have right now and learn everything I know about how to show up on TikTok, attract your right customers, and also make the experience be right for you. It doesn't have to be silly dances. It doesn't have to be complicated scripts or skits. It can be whatever you want it to be. And in this course, I really put everything that I know so that you can have the kind of presence that is going to make you go from unknown to unforgettable, so that people want to drive 2 hours out of their way to come and buy cars from you. I have you with the list of equipment that you need, with all of the TikTok features. I am going to show you exactly around the app. I'm going to show you how to simplify the analytics process. You don't have to know everything right off the bat to be successful. I'm going to show you how to stand out with your unique personality. I'm going to show you the viral examples so that they inspire you and you know exactly what to post, and so much more. And all of this can be yours right now. And I want to give you a very special $15 off code. The price of the course is going to keep changing. I just put this out there and the price is going to continue to increase. So don't rest thinking that the price is going to stay the same, and grab this code right here for your $15 off, no matter what the price of the course is. Just code this QR code, take a picture of this QR code, or go to autosocialgal.com/TT for TikTok, get it? And use the code YTGals, that stands for YouTube Gal, so that I know you came from this video and you're coming from here. It's all in that QR code. If you go to autosocialgal.com/TT, it already has the code baked into it, and you can go and grab it right now, because I want to see you on TikTok so that I can go and invite you to be on this YouTube channel, elevate your authority, and inspire others. All right, now let's go back to the interview.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You can literally give yourself a raise every single month and use that adrenaline that you love so much with sports and the competition and just wanting to like compete even with just yourself and getting better every month. I mean, you're essentially running your own business in a space. You don't have to take care of any inventory. I mean, the dealership does that, but it really is the most incredible career in my mind for someone who's an athlete. To be able to have that opportunity to have pressure every day. I mean, it excites me every day walking in the door because you just never know what's going to happen, and it's so much fun.
I love it. That's an amazing one. Um, can I ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception that women have when they come into this field and they get a job in car sales that you would like to dispel right now?
You don't need to know anything about cars. Yeah, you'll learn it. It's really just connecting with people, listening, wanting to help. And you'll learn the knowledge. I mean, I don't know how the car works, like mechanically, but I know what's in it and I know those details. And I think as women, we're great with details and we want to know details. And if someone wants to buy a car, they want to talk to someone that knows those details. And so we're built for this.
Switching gears a little bit, what is your favorite customer story?
Probably. So I have a gentleman, he is now 100 years old, and 2 years ago he was our first, one of our first electric Cadillac purchases, and he was 98. He's a World War II veteran, and he goes by Stovey. He's like a local legend, but he was wanting an electric Cadillac, and he got one of our first ones. And so his goal was to get it before he turned 100 because it was a long process of getting those to come out, the Cadillac Lyric. And so it's just incredible. Someone that's 98 years old learning how to drive, well, not drive an electric car, but just learning about it. Me going over to his house, helping him get the charger set up. And then I shared a story on LinkedIn, and Cadillac actually shared it and sent him some gear. And he's amazing.
That is so cool.
Hmm.
That is so cool. What advice do you have for customers walking the store? This is your chance. Like, assume that any future customer is listening to you right now. What is your advice for them?
Know what you want, or at least know what's important to you. So, like, have a list of, okay, these are the things that are important. If the salesperson just starts talking all over the place, you can just stop them and let them know, hey, look, these are the things I want. Like, I don't need to be here all day, kind of thing. But you really can cut to the chase and just be upfront with them, be direct. And you could call ahead of time, make sure that you are vibing with the salesperson. I think that's always a smart idea. For me, with clients, I like to do as many things as I can with you before you step in the door. So it can be seamless, it can be smooth, it can be quick. I mean, time is money, and I like to be efficient if we can.
Amazing. Um, let's talk a little bit about social media. I have been enthralled by your profile and everything you do and how honestly and sincerely you speak into the camera. Like all of that, your personality really comes through. I'm really curious to know, how did you get started? How did you start putting social media and car sales together?
Um, it's not natural for me. So I'm 40. I didn't grow up with like a cell phone in my hand or anything. I didn't get one until I was in college. So talking to a camera has been very different for me. And I am not a storyteller. At the dealership, I go in, do my work. If the manager sees me coming towards them, they know I'm like ready to work a deal. I don't sit and chit chat. So for me, talking about what I'm doing is a learning process. And so I've really been stretching myself. And last year I had a great year. I finished number two in sales for like 10 states around us. And so I thought to myself, like, what's something I can do to reach more people? Because I'm doing a great job with my local people. And I do have like a group on where I reach people through our Facebook groups. Certain specific cars, we have like a performance line for Cadillac, so I do have a name out with clients all over kind of for those cars, which has really been fun. But so I just thought, like, how else can I expand my reach? And of course, social media. So I decided this year that I was gonna put myself out there. And I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I can do it kind of in my sleep. So it's always good to try new things. And just if I decide something, I just do it. So I said, I'm gonna post. And it's been I've been learning from others and stuff. So it's not like I came up with these ideas.
I think you're doing amazing in there. I would love to hear what is your best social media hack?
Consistency. And for me, I have a very short attention span. So the very beginning of the video, you should be already talking. Like that pause, like I'm swiping by. Not that I really even swipe that much, but it's just I have to know something right away. So the first 3 seconds, like I always try and make it something to where it's either valuable or hook you or something like that. So editing your video to where you start talking right away and never having pauses. So I go through and edit a lot of like gaps in between my talking, or even if it's like filler words that I don't really need it, I'll edit that out. And I just want to keep that conversation going.
That's a really good one. Okay, so we're winding down here, and I want you to imagine that I've just put you on a stage, and the stadium is full of car saleswomen. What is your message to them?
It would be to go for it and not let you being, you know, the only woman hold you back. Use it to your advantage. So, I mean, for me, if a customer walks in the door and said, "Well, I can't remember her name," like there's only one of me, so it's pretty easy. The guy's like, "Well, he had gray hair, this, that." Like use that to your advantage. And like whenever you know something and people do make comments like, "Oh, wow, you actually do know your cars." I'm like, "Thanks, I do know my job." Like use that to your advantage. Like they don't expect much out of you. So blow them away. And once they realize you do know what you're talking about, they're going to trust you so much quicker. And I feel like we can use that energy to our advantage and don't feel like poor me, I'm the only one. Like use it. And we can only, rise and do better. And I think that this career is so amazing and we need more women.
We need more women. That's true. Really, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Why don't you tell everybody where to find you, where to follow you on social, how to get more from you?
Yeah, so Andrea sells Cadillac on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. So I'm there.
And we're going to put all the links below. Remind everybody where you work, the name of the store, and the city and state.
It's Andrews Cadillac. We're in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is just right outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Andrea, thank you so much for your time. This has been so fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.